Who says success wears a suit? Sometimes it wears torn gloves, carries a broom, and smells like garbage. This is the story of a cleaner who was mocked, ignored, and invisible to the world until a forgotten piece of trash changed his destiny forever. In the heart of New York City, where the skyline kisses the clouds and opportunity seems endless, lived a man who no one really saw. His name was Daniel Cortez, a 38-year-old janitor who cleaned the lobby and dumpsters of a towering corporate office building downtown. Every morning, while employees in shiny shoes and designer bags hurried in, Daniel quietly swept the floors, emptied bins, and scrubbed toilets, his head down, his heart heavy, but his mind always awake. Daniel wasn't always a janitor. 10 years ago, he had dreams of starting a tech company, of building apps that made lives easier. But life had hit hard. A car accident, hospital bills, his father's cancer, and eventually his mother's death forced him to drop out of college and take whatever job he could to survive. Still, Daniel never gave up learning. At night, in his tiny basement room, he watched coding tutorials on a second-hand laptop. His uniform smelled of bleach, but his mind reeked of ambition. One rainy Tuesday morning, something strange happened. As Daniel rolled out a dumpster behind the building, he noticed a thick folder sticking out of a torn trash bag. Most would ignore it, but Daniel, curious by nature, pulled it out. Inside were company blueprints, sales reports, and a stack of papers marked Rejected Proposal, Smart Waste Management App, Internal Review Only. Daniel's eyes lit up. The proposal detailed an idea for a tech-based garbage tracking and recycling system for smart cities. It had been rejected by the board, but to Daniel, it was genius. More importantly, he could improve it. That night, Daniel skipped dinner and stayed up, scribbling on notepads, coding frameworks, and reimagining the app from scratch. He renamed it Ecobin, a smart, sensor-based waste management system that could save cities millions and reduce environmental waste drastically. But who would listen to a janitor? He had no connections, no office, no suits, just passion and a plan. Then came a moment of insane courage. The next morning, Daniel took a deep breath, put on his cleanest uniform, and printed a brief proposal. As the CEO of the building's top company, Green Tech Solutions, stepped out of the elevator, Daniel called out, "Excuse me, sir. I know this is crazy, but I have something that could save your company millions." The CEO, stunned at the interruption, almost walked away, but something in Daniel's voice stopped him. 5 minutes, the CEO said. "Walk with me." Nervous, sweaty, and speaking from the soul, Daniel explained his idea, how he'd found the rejected file, how he improved the system, and even showed screenshots from the working prototype on his battered phone. The CEO was speechless. "Come to my office tomorrow," he said. "Bring everything you've got." The next day changed Daniel's life forever. He presented a full blueprint. His solution was more efficient, cheaper, and scalable, something even their top developers had overlooked. A week later, GreenTech invested in the Ecobon prototype. Within 6 months, they launched a pilot program across several districts in New York. The results were unbelievable: waste reduced by 37%, collection costs dropped, and the media went wild over tech that turns trash into treasure. But they weren't just talking about the app. They were talking about Daniel Cortez, the janitor who revolutionized waste management. Daniel was offered a permanent position as head of sustainability innovations at GreenTech. He was given stock options, a 6-figure salary, and full funding to develop Ecobin into a national product. He bought his first car, his first home, paid off his father's debts, and for the first time in 15 years, he visited his mother's grave not with regret, but with pride. Today, Daniel is the CEO of Ecobon, Inc., which now operates in 11 states across the U.S. and has been featured in Forbes, CNBC, and TEDx. He still keeps that old uniform and those gloves in a glass box in his office. When asked why, he simply says, "This is where I started, in the dustbin. That's where I found the idea, and found myself." Daniel now speaks at schools, especially in underserved neighborhoods, reminding kids, you don't have to be seen to be significant. Just because you're cleaning up someone else's mess today doesn't mean you won't own the building tomorrow. Never underestimate the power of a prepared mind. Success doesn't care where you're from, it only asks if you're ready when opportunity knocks, even if that opportunity comes from the trash.